Alright, you guys know we had a lot of music come out this year, and if you didn't get a chance to listen to everything that came out, it's okay. Today we're going to be going through every rap album that dropped this year. We're talking hits, charts, and other details surrounding each artist. You know, I'm trying to make some more content for you guys in between the shows, so let me know if you guys like this. But let's dive in. And I did timestamp everything for you guys, so feel free to skip along. I know some kids can't watch a video more than 10 seconds these days thanks to TikTok. Hope that's not you. And this is going to be a two-parter video for you guys. There's just so many albums that came out this year. I'm not trying to put a 40-minute video out that no one's going to watch. So kicking it off this year, we had Trippie Redd drop Mansion Music on January 20th. And it was even supposed to have a Cardi feature that never made it on the album. But it did give us hits like Crazy Train featuring Travis Scott. Rockstar, rap star, turn this to an avatar, honest turn you avatar. Or Nightcrawler with Juice WRLD, another favorite. Yeah, first things first, I pop a pill. After that, I crack a seal. Then I go raw dog your hoe. But it did have a whole range of sounds, giving artists like Rob 49 an opportunity to shine on a mainstream album. And one of my favorite songs off the album being Hideout with Fiji Macintosh. This album had a mixed reception off the bat. A lot of people saying it was copying Opium Vibes sound. But Trippie's always been someone to have a broad range of sounds, and so I think that was just more his way of trying something too. Like he had said, trying to touch base on every type of rage. This is one of them. And this album would peak at number 3 on the Billboard Top 200. And I was happy with that being the start of music for this year. Now the same day we got Ice Spice's album, Like. This would have her hit single Munch Feelin' You, which dropped in August of last year. And her other hit song, Princess Diana with Nicki Minaj. Hey, yo, Ice. Like, keep it a stack. Bitches move on cause they know I got beans. They be chatting, I don't give a damn and I'm still getting money, I know who I am. With her deluxe including songs like Deli, which really took off on TikTok. This album would get her a top spot of 15 on the Billboard 200. But aside from that, she also won the Best New Artist at the VMAs. And she got 4 Grammy nominations, so she went crazy this year. Now a week after that, we would get Yachty's new album, Let's Start Here. Now this album would come with a lot of controversy following his hit song Poland. I think a lot of people wanted an album that had that sound to it, and then with this being what they got, it was a whole new sound from what everyone was expecting. That, and there was controversy around the album cover being produced by AI. He kind of got some flack for that, not having a real artist being involved. Some fans also didn't like him saying fuck any album he had put out before this one. This album had obvious influences from big artists like Tame Impala, Frank Ocean, Pink Floyd, and is actually one of my favorite albums of the year. And although this album would take him to the number 9 on the Billboard 200, he did say he felt snubbed of the Grammy opportunity. This would also have one of our first appearances from Tizo Touchdown this year, being on the song The Ride. Baby, if you get hype, just close your eyes. Justine Skye would also be featured on 2 of the better songs off the album, Running Out of Time and The Zone, as well as a beautiful duo with Diana Gordon on Drive Me Crazy. Good love, fill my body up like a glass when you pour it all out. If you know me, you know I mind. Someone like me is hard to find. But what were your thoughts? Did you guys love it or hate it? Now if you haven't heard this next one, you might be living on a rock, because bitch, I'm from Texas. On February 10th, we got Amar. Now, if you didn't know, BigX is a new rapper that blew up from Texas off of his hit song, Texas.
Hey, bitch, I'm from Texas, where we surround swangers and put diamonds in our necklace.
Now, in an interview with Complex, he talks about his love and inspiration from New Orleans rap and some classic R&B. And the title of the album is actually a tribute to his son, Amar. And this album would take him to 181 on the Billboard 200. You might also know him. His latest album, The Biggest, had the hit song, which was featured a lot on TikTok sounds and audios.
Really having this shit. Got out that stuff, started rapping, and 6 months later, I'm rich.
He would also be known for hit songs like Whip It.
my spot out that powder was locked. Once the piece had a taste, it was hot. Think I'm capping, I'm not, boy, you better go ask for my spot on my son. It was me and D-Rock.
Or change.
Hey, see lately shit changed. Remember the change in my pocket, now we hit the club and it rain. Remember them days, being the superstar, now the whole city saying my name.
The 24th, we would get the next album from the Memphis rapper Key Glock, titled Glockoma 2. This album would have an elite range of sounds and beats, giving us songs like Let's Go.
Let's go, let's go, yeah, let's go, let's go, get some money, fuck they plan, fuck they.
Or other hits Dirt, with the best song on the album, in my opinion, being Penny.
South Memphis nigga ballin', I get every penny. 20 pointers in my mouth, a shout out to my dentist. I just did a meet and greet and signed a couple titties. If a nigga play with Keith, yeah, it's gonna be a killing.
Now Glock did say there's probably not going to be a Glockoma 3, so we'll see what he puts out next. But never a bad album from the guy. I mean, I would have honestly almost put this up with Album of the Year contention too, but this was a good year for music. And this album would put him at a peak spot of 13 on the Billboard 200. That same day, the second album we would get would be Yeat's next album, titled Afterlyfe. Eventually, on his story in January, we would see the Afterlyfe title for the first time. And I love the sounds on this album. This album would give us hits like No More Talk. Then a favorite of mine was None I'd Change. I really liked the Tron vibes on there. I thought that was fire. The only feature on the album would be YoungBoy on the song Schmunk, and this album would reach number 4 on the Billboard 200. And then the final album we would get on the 24th would be Don Toliver's Lovesick. This album would serve as a mashup of some love songs as well as a homage to some 70s funk and soul music. This album would have an impressive features list including artists like Travis Scott, Tizo Touchdown, Lil Durk, Toro y Moi, Brent Faiyaz, Justin Bieber, who we actually got to see live in Rolling Loud, and then his love interest Kali Uchis. My favorite tracks off there would be Private Landing.
I don't know why these hoes can't stand me. I guess I'm too demanding when they hit a double coat the candy. I'm so high, no landing.
Embarrassed.
I'm feeling, I'm running it up. Drop off go, 4x4, I'm picking you up. On my way, and I'm drunk out.
And this album would ultimately take him to number 8 on the Billboard 200. And then on the last day of February, we would be getting an album from the slime ball himself, Nudy. Now this album would be dropping after 172 songs of his would get leaked online. But that didn't do anything to the EA rapper. This man gave us hit songs like Passion Fruit. He gave us Peaches and Eggplants featuring 21 Savage. And you can't forget about the pot roast either. Gives you a creative track list with nearly every song being a dish for you. And this album would reach a peak of 83 on the Billboard 200. Moving on into April, 2 weeks in, we would get Cottonwood 2 from NLE Choppa. Now this man is known for his energy. He's got a crazy stage performance, his fans love to get into the shows with him, and he's known for his wild lyrics like found on Slut Me Out.
Slut me out, rip out my shirt if you love me, spit in my face when you fuck me.
And other fan favorites being Ain't Gonna Answer and Stomp 'Em Out.
No, a bitch can't get shit from me but hard dick till it's soft. And the nigga can't get shit from me but a 2-man coffin. Stomp him, stomp him, stomp him, stomp him, stomp him, stomp him, stomp him out.
And would also hit a peak of 21 on the Billboard 200. A few days later, on April 21st, we would get the next album from GHerbo, Strictly For My Fans Too. Some of y'all might know how earlier this year he got arrested for a fraud and identity theft scam. Apparently this man was using the fake ID for private jets, rental cars, villas, stays, places. So we'll see if we get some more GHerbo anytime soon. But he did use a Metro sample on the track Dead or Alive.
Yeah.
gang shit, nigga. We invented that. Real influence, money coming in flowing. Realest nigga in this shit, man, dead or alive.
And would reach a top position of 124 on the Billboard 200. So for the last album of April, coming out the 28th, we had Harlow give us Jackman. Now some people do think he got a little too much credit this year. He did win the Songwriter of the Year for the CSAC Awards and was nominated for the BET Hip Hop Album of the Year. And you know what? I'll give it to the man. He is a decent songwriter, you know? You really get to hear it on tracks like Denver.
Walking past a homeless in a Rolex. Just got off the stage on the Today Show and I basically felt soulless. Years go by and I keep saying I'm gonna use my phone less, but I should just be phoneless. Ignorance is bliss, and so is being underground, cause it was fun when we were known less. Sorry, that's cliche, I know I'm so blessed.
You know, he kind of talks about the state of his career at the moment. And then on the song It Can't Be, he speaks on some of the doubters or people that don't really have faith in him.
It can't be the years of work I put in. It can't be the way that I've stuck with the same friends. It can't be the swag I got when I walk in. It can't be.
I will say though, I think he needs to stick to music and stay out of the film industry. I don't even want to talk about White Man Can't Jump this year. That shit's on par with Space Jam. Also, some people think that the album cover could be a nod to his movie with the basketball court being in the background. And this album would reach number 8 on the Billboard 200. On May 5th, Destroy Lonely gave us his next piece of music, If Looks Could Kill. Now, being his follow-up to his album No Stylist, this one did get mixed reviews because it had a little bit of a different sound, taking it more to like that slow, dark feel. And I think a certain crowd of people wanted that more upbeat feel that we got with sounds like No Stylist. But I thought it had phenomenal sounds, giving us tracks like Brazy Girls.
Tell that nigga to stay right there. KOD, Magic City, crazy girls.
Or Fly Shit. This album had originally been teased in September of 22 in a tweet where he said his next album was going to be If Looks Could Kill. And then rollout would start in April this year with a QR code that was found on his website, which would lead to a snippet for the song By the Pound. And we would also get a tease for the song Money and Sex. And this album would actually get a deluxe coming out a little bit later, giving us songs like the track Catch a Kill.
Sassy dance, making a scene, hands bounce, trampoline. I got a whole lot of pikes to lean, I got a whole lot of clothes to lean.
If Looks Could Kill would hit a spot of 18 on the Billboard 200 list, and you can probably expect to hear more of him on Cardi's upcoming album too. Alright, next up we got NBA YoungBoy. Now I know he had an album drop in January too, but this man dropped 4 albums this year, so I'm just doing them all at once. I'm not doing that 4 times. Part of that is too, I don't really listen to much YoungBoy. I'm a big Durk fan. I'm just doing this for the fans right here. But yeah, NBA YoungBoy put out I Rest My Case back in January. That one had pretty little promotion, with one of the top songs off there being Black. And that one got up to 9 on the Billboard. Then in April he dropped Don't Try This at Home. He had mentioned this one back in February during a Billboard interview, with singles off there being WTF and Rear View. Then here in May he dropped Richest Op, and that one hit number 4 on the Billboard. Here he throws disses at Durk, and he's not too fond of academics either. And drops Fuck the Industry Part 2. And then November 10th he dropped Decided 2. That one hitting 17 on the Billboard, being teased through the label. And some notable songs off there are Better Than Ever and My Body. So a little bit later, May 26th, Lil Durk would put out his album Almost Healed, which would have the hit song All My Life with J. Cole. And that song would ultimately get a Grammy nomination for Best Melodic Rap Performance. This would also be supported by an Alicia Keys intro on the song Pellicoat.
Good morning, Durk. Can you tell me, where was your mind when you heard the news of your friend Vaughn passing away? And then, the loss of your brother. And I want to know how you feel about the rap beef on top of all the chaos. I want to hear from Durk Banks.
They scared to come outside.
And another country pop hit with the star Morgan Wallen being Stand By Me. Now this album did follow his breakup with India, and he does talk about it being full of sounds of scattered emotions on it. Now he still does have that quick fire rap sound found on songs like Before Fajr. And some of y'all might remember this album date did get pushed back when YB planned to drop the same day as him, but then he ultimately dropped All My Life as a single that day. And then Almost Healed would reach a top spot of number 3 on the Billboard 200. Durk also put out an album this year with OTF titled Nightmare in the Trenches, with a couple hits off there being Smirk Carter. So that same day we got an album from Kodak Black titled Pistolz and Pearlz. And honestly, I didn't listen to this album much. One, because Durk had dropped the same day, and two, I just didn't like the album cover that much, so I just kind of didn't really put much time into it. But there's some good songs on here. You've got Gunsmoke Town, which was a single for the album.
Put my life on the line several times for these niggas. And these the same niggas I catch them out here, I'ma kill them. It's fucked up out here. At first they cross it and play victim. Your big homies ain't right, Walk lost his life to the system.
So was No Love for a Thug. And then a couple favorites of mine were A Beautiful Rainbow and then Follow Me. And this album would end up placing 19th on the Billboard 200. Kicking it off in June, we had the soundtrack to Across the Spiderverse, produced by Metro Boomin. And now I didn't think this album had a song, you know, like Sunflower that necessarily stood out across all of them, but it did have some really good tracks all through it. My favorites being Am I Dreamin' with A$AP Rocky, then All the Way Live with Future and Uzi. But yeah, it's an amazing film. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. You know, Metro is definitely, I'd say, a high point in his career too. He just had Heroes and Villains come out, and I'd say that's almost a no-skip album right there. That same day, we would get Hard to Love by Moneybagg Yo, which would hit number 10 on the Billboard 200. And he said that he was letting us in on a more personal end with this album, which is probably part of why he ended up pushing it back due to Taylor Swift dropping. You know, I don't think he wanted any clout over this, he just wanted it to be out there. This album would give us hits like They Say, or Keep It Low with Future, or the song Shoal Is.
Soon as they think this shit sweet, we gon' tweak out. Gotta stand for something, just heard Benny on post speak bout. Show lives, ain't no hoe in him, he keep that pole on him. Show lives, ain't no bitch in us who got more sticks than us.
If you guys had a chance to listen to it, let me know what you guys thought about it. A week later, we would get an album from the rising star Rob 49 titled For God 2. You know, in a couple other videos, I've talked about the year he's had getting on Travis, Durk, and Trippie's album. And if you didn't know, Rob was one of 10 injured in a shooting during a French Montana music video back in January this year. The New Orleans rapper has said that he takes influence from artists like Lil Wayne or Kanye West. And some favorites on the album would include tracks like ILY, Bentley Mulsanne.
Yeah, I know a couple niggas who say they up, but niggas lying. I know a couple niggas who say they step, but niggas ain't die. Every time the police kick my door for, not gonna tell a lie. I know a couple niggas who say they rich, but I don't believe it. Brand new Bentley Mulsanne, back this bitch and back was dead, and I'm still a trap star. I got my cake up anime.
Or Houston Girls. You know, we actually we had one more drop that day though. I wish I didn't have to do this, but I do. We had Sexy Red. The Hood Hottest Princess dropped Ski Yee. And yeah, if you haven't heard that, I envy you. You're lucky. Don't listen to this. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with her. Everyone says she might be a plant. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, I think Travis's reaction pretty much sums up what we're all thinking.
Niggas love a bad bitch.
And yeah, I got 75 on the Billboard 200. Moving on. Alright, so June 14th, SoFaygo put out Go Plus. And now this one failed to even chart. And he's kind of just had a rough start off the bat. You know, he did have like the hit songs off Trippie's album. I think it's MP5.
That nigga stepping on top. Handle that shit like you grow. Doing this shit on my low, ayy. I got that back on my own.
But dude, he couldn't stick with Pink Hearts, and then he kind of got like that Travis diss that happened, and now this one. So I don't know, man. It would probably take a lot for him to climb back into the spotlight, but he could do it. You know, from the beginning, he was just expected to have this certain sound, and then being on such a banger like MP5, like just so much expectation for him. And then he had his own sound, wasn't exactly that, and I think that's just where it all kind of went downhill from. And this album was actually supposed to be deluxe for Pink Hearts. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe that could have saved it if he put out a better album instead of this. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see. I haven't given up on him yet, though. 2 days later, Gunna would put out A Gift and a Curse. This would have the song Fuck You Mean on it. But it's more like Fuck You Snitch For, if you ask me. And I don't even know what it did on the charts. I didn't even check because we're not listening to that over here. It's Free Thug on this side. So 6 days later, Jeffrey would give us Business Is Business. Now this was announced through Metro and produced by him too. And this came out about a month after his arrest on May 9th. I think we all know about the case going on there. But it was full of unreleased tracks. It had 2 songs with Drake on there that blew up, as well as other artists like Travis Scott, Future, 21 Savage, and Lil Uzi Vert. Some of the standout songs on there would be Jonesboro, where he seems to hint at either Gunna or his other friends, saying,
"Nigga told and he was my homie, I can't miss him, ain't nobody feel him."
He also talks about what he's gone through with songs like Went Through It. And 2 of my favorite beats on the album would be Uncle M.
He tried to sell us, you can pick up couple grand and a fill up. Peel the top back, we don't need no fucking peel up. Uncle Murder, you can still get turned up.
And the kind of vamp style we get on Money on the Dresser. Business Is Business would peak at number 2 on the Billboard 200. And it's Free Thug till he's out. Alright guys, that's going to be where I leave you for now. Make sure to check out part 2 coming tomorrow on the channel. We're trying to just get this in before the new year hits off. Comment below what your favorite album of the year is, and we'll see you for part 2.